Hello everyone, Loremaster of Sotek here with another video. Today is a rather unique occasion, as there's a project I've been working on in the background while everything else has been going on, and the time has finally come to reveal it. Consider it a little bonus Christmas gift from yours truly. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what this whole thing is. Well, to cut to the chase, it is not a secret that I have always been rather disappointed with the direction that Creative Assembly went with regarding some of their Lizardmen designs, but in particular, the Kroxigor, I found to be distressing. Between the overly simplified and stubby tails, very basic bodies that just look like someone convinced a crocodile to stand up, and squat frames lacking nearly all of the iconic lore design notes about what a Kroxigor should be, I just never found it to be inspired or an even decent representation of how the fourth major species of the Lizardmen are written about. So, during some various Lorebeard streams, I noticed a particular member of the community who had been creating some absolutely gorgeous designs for the custom gods, the Everchosens, and dragons we had been creating and talking about over on Lorebeards. Seeing the potential of someone that clearly has the gift of depicting monstrous creatures, I reached out to Mr. Molino and commissioned him to see if we could bring to life a more fitting version of Kroxigor. While I am quite fond of the variant we received from Blood Bowl 2 being my favorite version, and the new designs by Games Workshop for Age of Sigmar, which actually also introduced a new subspecies known as the Kroxigor War Spawned, which are basically Blessing of Sotek sacred spawnings with more seemingly Total War inspired designs. As far as I'm concerned, the Total War ones are literally just Kroxigor War Spawned rather than basic Kroxigors. So I thought maybe we can come up with something a little more unique and fun. And we did. Plus, we even made an alternate Nakai design as well. So let's start with what makes a Kroxigor, well, a Kroxigor. They're originally pitched as the larger cousins of the Saurus, with more crocodilian features in the form of their larger size, massive shoulders built for hauling construction materials, covered with large armored plates to protect their body, and stooped postures with bony protrusions coming out that guard their backs. Though, despite this, they still tower over Saurus, and even more so over humans. They're also blessed with long, thick tails to assist with balance that end in bony clubs or spikes to bludgeon enemies into meaty pulp. Finally, their weapons are often chained to their bodies in some fashion to prevent the lovable brutes from dropping or losing them on the battlefield when tearing apart enemies with their jaws, claws, or tails due to following their bestial instincts. The biggest thing, in my opinion, is that they should ultimately look alien when compared to natural wildlife, just like the Slan, Saurus, and Skinks do. While there are frog or toad-like traits to the Slan, they don't actually look like bipedal frogmen. They're more unique and strange. Skinks don't actually look like bipedal real-world skinks. Kroxigors, in the same fashion, shouldn't actually look like bipedal crocodiles, which the Total War ones do. They're just too basic. Now then, I think I've rambled on about this long enough to a rather absurd degree on all sorts of different live streams and videos and yada yada yada. So here's the deal. David has been kind enough to provide a time lapse of the process of him creating not only the final design we went with for the Kroxigors, but also several other concepts. Plus, we went ahead and created Nakai the Wanderer. The Nakai design in particular, I think, turned out amazing, as we really leaned into making him feel ancient and beat up. A powerful creature that has suffered terrible wounds over millennia, but always pushed through and carefully tended to by the skink priests. This results in having his golden trinkets unique item, which he hasn't told at war and is mentioned in his original little blurbs on the paragraphs, much more apparent on his body than the Total War design. In that the skinks quite literally used gold to bind his armored hide back together, almost like metal sutures, not only allowing him to heal, but also providing him with additional armor in the future in these weak spots that have been damaged in battle. Plus, we upgraded his weapon, which, according to an official Games Workshop summer campaign featured around the Shadows over Albion campaign, is none other than the Sacred Blade of Quetzal, one of the enigmatic old ones. I have been trying for years to get Creative Assembly to acknowledge Nakai's weapon as the Sacred Blade of Quetzal, but apparently that summer campaign Games Workshop did isn't considered like an official lore source, despite the fact they published it and it was their summer campaign and they did it at Warhammer World, but whatever. I hope you all enjoy. As for your actual Christmas present, I'm also including a link down below in the description and pinned comment so that you can have the Nakai design as a wallpaper for your computer, desktop, or phone to use as you wish, including several other images of the things, some of the various designs, with some notes from our lovely artist himself. Please do let me know what you think of the Kroxigor design we've crafted together. It was quite the fun little project. I'd love to hear reasons why you disagree with it, reasons why you think the Total War version is better or worse. Maybe you think the modern version by Games Workshop is the superior version. Maybe you think the Kroxigor Warspawn are cooler than the regular Kroxigors, or maybe you just agree with me and you want to just fawn over this kick-ass design. If, by the way, you'd be interested in seeing more videos kind of like this, where maybe I can get together with an artist in the community and I can commission them to make something. So maybe we can explore like characters that never got art, or maybe characters that only have really, really old art, trying to bring it forward into the modern age, or taking a different interpretation on something. If you'd like to see this kind of content more, because this is very much an experiment for me, please do leave me a comment about that. Please make that known to me here on the video. And also consider subscribing, because I'd like to do this more. I'd like to try and do more community interactive content instead of me just blabbing about random things from time to time, like actually getting to create things and kind of hand that off to y'all. So if that's something you're interested in, then there are a lot of different ways to support what I do here on the channel, because paying artists is expensive, but it's something I enjoy doing. And if you want to see more projects like this, then consider that. Thank you all for watching. At this point, I'm going to shut the hell up and just put on some music. I'll just put on some, I don't know, some random thing I find, so that you can just enjoy however much time is left in the time lapse. Thank you all so much, and please have a Merry Christmas.